Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Gung Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe. Kavim Kavinam Upamashrabastamam. Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannudipissidasadanam. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidanandamurtaye Nisprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om Yasyatmabhudasya Guru Prasadat Aham Vimuktosmi Samsara Bandhat Sarvopadeshtu Shivanandamurtehe Mridvangriyukpam Pranadosmi Nityam Dayasindhum Dena Bandhum Shastrarthabodhana Patum Maskarindra Varam Naumi Sri Chidananda Sadgurum. Om Praninam Dukkha Hartaro Jnanado Bhavana Muktaye Shivananda Chidanandu Ashraye Guru Sattamo. Om Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Ramachandraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Chidanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Chidanandaya. I have been sharing with you on the structure and content of scriptures, and today I will conclude that subject, and most probably from tomorrow onwards we shall enter into the yoga philosophy, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So before that I will sum up the whole thing. I shared with you the structure of the Vedas and the content of the Vedas. The same ideas are brought into in a very light form in the Smritis and in the form of interesting stories in the Puranas, and later on all the great literatures, the authors brought the same idea, the core idea of the ancient scriptures in their literary works. The core teaching is, we consider that out of arrogance that I am independent, and you exert yourself, you project yourself, considering that you are very independent. This is a false notion, false idea. You are very much dependent here on everything here. The earth under your feet is not caving when you are walking. If the earth starts caving in, what will happen? You have taken it for granted this surface is hard. So when you put your leg, it will support you. If the earth says, are you independent? Yes. All right, you walk yourself. I will not give you the support. What will happen to you? If the water flow started flowing upwards, the Ganga water will enter into academy. Sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes up. Means what will happen? There is a rhythm. There is a natural law here. The water flows down. If it breaks that law, if a bowler bowls the ball, the speed will end, at some point it will become dead. If the ball started keep on moving, then how will you play the cricket? If a footballer kicks the ball and it is eternally moving, like the planets are moving, what will happen? And the other day I told you, you are not doing anything to breathe. Automatically this is going on. It came automatic and it stops automatic. When it stops, no ventilation will work. Ventilation will work for some time only. Afterwards, the ventilator, they will disconnect. So the core teaching of the basic scripture, the Vedas, and later on in all other scriptures, it is told in some way or other, respect everything here. Everything has got a place here. Everything is beautiful here. Every part of the body is essential. You cannot reject one part. This is not good. So everything has got a place here. The ugly and the beautiful, the tall and the short, the good and the bad. Everything are the upwards and the reverse side of the same coin. A coin cannot be made with one side alone. There should be the head and there should be the tail. I don't want the tail. I want only the head, you cannot say. So everything is beautiful here. And a recognition of that. And having recognized it, respecting that is the core teaching. We adore certain things and we reject certain things. So they say that you respect everything here. Respect everything means you bow down to the master. You don't bow down to the dog. It will not understand. If the dog comes, "Hari Om, my dear," it will not understand. Respecting the dog is something different from respecting the master. You offer a flower to Gurudev. You cannot offer a flower to the monkey. So in the Gita there is one sloka. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane vihastini shunichaiva shopake pandita samadarshinaha. That's samadarshitva. The equal vision. Equal vision does not mean samakriya, samadarshana, vision. You have to respect everything. So life should be such that you understand the beauty of everything here. The presence of God has to be felt. And the homage to God in the different places should also be different. Swami Chidanandaji Maharaj once, he was in a city, big city. He was traveling from morning to evening to different places and he had no rest and he could not even attend to his essential things. So when they were returning home to the host, he said, "I am very tired. First of all, I have to go to the bathroom. So many people will be waiting for me there. So you tell them that I will take some rest and come back. Maybe after 1 hour you tell them, he said. Okay, the person who is driving the car, he said, okay, Swamiji, okay. And the host house they entered. And the host immediately ran to the room where Swamiji is staying to see whether everything is okay. And then the person sought to that, whether everything is okay, and 5-10 minutes he took. And he found that Swamiji has not come from the car, he has not walked into the room so far. What happened to Swamiji? For 10 minutes he is not to be seen, hardly 1 minute to walk. Then he was searching, and then he found Swamiji was playing with the dog. Then he asked, what is this, Swamiji? You said you are very tired, you want to go to bathroom, and you are playing with the dog. Then Swamiji said, you see, I am so tired, but I have to go there to bathroom. There are people who are waiting, you can go and tell them that I will come after 1 hour, they will understand and remain quiet. As soon as I entered, this dog started doing like this. It was greeting me. Suppose if I walk into the room without reciprocating its love, it will become very sad. It cannot understand that Swamiji wants to answer his calls and he is under pressure. It will not understand. I don't want to disappoint that. So I played for 5 minutes. Now I can go. It is happy. Now I can go. This is the vision we have to develop from the study of the scriptures. This is the yoga and the Vedanta. This is the art and science of yoga and Vedanta. Not this lifting hands and tails that the dog will do. The Marjara asana, the Marjara will do much better than you do. So this is actually the message conveyed here. We are connected to everything here. Everything here is connected to everything other here. Nothing is independent. This room is connected to the other room. Although this is classroom, close the door. Immediately after my prayer I say. But they are interconnected only. The Krishnan Swamiji used to say, the exterior and the interior are contiguous. They are interconnected. The exterior and the interior are interconnected. They are not two separate entities. You are not a separate entity. You are very much intimately connected to me, and I am connected to you. Understanding this, and our life should be regulated in such a way that we don't bring unhappiness to others. We don't do anything harmful to others. We make everyone happy. Normally we want to be happy and make the other person unhappy. At his expense we want to be happy. So the scriptures say, you want to be happy. In order to be happy, more happy, you make the other person happy. There is joy in acquiring. There is more joy in giving. Not giving materials alone. Giving the joy to the others. The more you make the other person happy, you become very happy. That you can make the other person happy by giving. Not by giving alone, by so many other things. A good word, a glance. See me with an eye of love. In the great epic Ramayana, one person asks another person, what can I do for you? What service I can do for you? He says, Maitrena chakshusha ikshasva. You see me with an eye of love. Many times we don't see persons with an eye of love. We see with hatred. We see with suspicion. We see with anger, jealousy. So to what extent you are able to see the other person with an eye of love? Maitrena chakshusha, Maitri bhava. Iksha means to see. See me with an eye of friendliness. What more you can give to me? Whatever you give to me will go away. Oh, I have seen his presence. What a love he has given to me. So this is what actually the ashram wants to share with you. This is what the ashram wants to develop. All other things are secondary. So this is the core teaching of all the scriptures. Difference is in the methodology of presentation, how they present it. The Vedas speaks the same thing. The Smritis speak the same thing. In different ways. Maybe on a gross aspect of that. Maybe on a subtler aspect of that. Somewhere it is spoken in a very subtle way, and somewhere it is said in a very gross way. There are stories for children where the tiger and the rat have got friendship. The tiger and the rat, or a lion and a rat are friendly with each other. The cat and the crow are friendly with each other. What does it mean actually? Even the Panchatantra stories, they carry a moral. Below this moral, what is there? Yes, some morals are there. Speak the truth, they say. Why should I speak the truth? So the ultimate is the feeling the presence of God here. Once you feel the presence of God here, it reflects in your behavior with everything here. All your activities are worship to God, not you are worshipping in the temple or in the churches or in the mosque. Everything here is a worship. Yadyat karma karomi tattadagilam shambho tavaradhanam. Whatever I do here is my homage unto you. So this is presented in different ways in the different scriptures. And they say that it is like this. If you go to the Vedas speaks about this more like an order. It is like mandatory provisions. Do this, don't do that. The vidhi and nisheda. You respect everybody. Don't disrespect anyone. Don't do that. When you say that don't spit in water, what do you mean by that? Don't pollute the water. It's a very gross idea. Respect that. You cannot spit on this fellow. How can you spit on water? Do you spit on your mother? Then why do you spit on this water? So the Vedas proclaim it as a mandatory provision. They said, Yad Vedad Prabhusammidat. As the king will give an order, don't do that. Like that, it gives an order like that. Everything is mandatory there. You understand what it means by mandatory? Mandatory provisions. Whereas when it comes to Puranas, it is little more. Or they say, the Vedas speak like father will speak. Hey, you cannot do that. You give that, I will beat you. Like that the father will say. Whereas the Puranas speak as the wife speaks. Yad Prabhusammidat. No. The Puranas speak like the friend speak. Suhrit Samhita. Prabhusamhita. Suhrit Samhita. Suhrit means a friend. A friend will tell you if you are doing something wrong. Then the friend will tell you, hey my dear, what is that? You are doing these wrong things. Don't do that. You are doing excess. It will cause problem to you. Don't do that. So like that, the Puranas puts it in a little more friendly way. When it comes to literature, it presents it as your wife will present it. Kanta Samhita. The wife will say, Hari Om, my dear. I understand that you are doing all these things. Kindly don't do that. We are all dependent on you. Like that, she puts it in a different way. Likewise, the literature presents it in a little more palatable way. The very same subject presented by a father, an advice given by the father, advice given by a friend, and an advice, a request made by a wife. So what happens? The presentation varies from when the same subject, when an advice is being given by the father, a friend, and a wife, the way of presentation is different. Likewise, the most ancient literature and the Puranas, and even whether it is Shakespeare or whether it is Kalidasa, they also present the same idea, core idea, but the presentation varies. This is how the ancients have said. Now, having gone through the scriptures, now I have given you an idea, glimpses, an overview of the scriptures. So those who have studied the scriptures in detail, especially the Vedas, then they start analyzing what exactly is the core teaching. What is real here? What is real? Everything is changing here. What is real? So they call it as the epistemology and the ontology. What is the real knowledge? What is the ultimate knowledge they want to give to us? Is there anything real here? Everything is changing. Whether anything real, changeless is there. If there are changes, to know the change, there should be something which is changeless. Otherwise, change will not be known. If we are also changing with that, the earth is rotating. We don't feel the rotation of the earth because we are part and parcel of the earth. So we are also rotating, we are also moving, continuously moving. Although you feel that you are stationary, you are sitting quiet in one place. Every minute you have traveled from one place to another place. You are going around the sun. You are not aware of it. Because the earth is changing, you are also changing along with that, moving along with that. So they made an inquiry whether there is anything which is changeless. What is real here? So these inquiries were made not now, maybe 3,000, 4,000, 2,000 years before. The exact dates we do not know. Because the ancients never considered the history. They never reckoned the time. Time itself is a concept. Now, the Western scholars gave too much importance to time. The time itself is a concept. What is time? There is no time. Suppose if you are in the moon, where is the time? If you are in the sun, where is the time? Because we are on the earth is rotating. Its one rotation is a day. And then we calculate all these things. If you are out of the earth, where is the time? The time is true only for this earth. Out of this earth, there is no such time. Okay? So the Western scholars made these mistakes actually. And even the calendar is also a hypothetical calendar. The 2011. It did not start from... So, the time itself is a concept. So, sometime in 1500s, they introduced this calendar. And then, it never started like 1, 2, 3 like that. And then those days it was only 360 days. 360 days makes a year like that. So suddenly they found there is some error in the calendar. So in the 1900s, they found that error. So some 12 to 15 days were altered. Today is 29th August. Tomorrow will be 17th September, like that they started. You know that actually? It is like that. You know the Russian Revolution, it is called October Revolution, they call it. It really happened in November. And then very recently, even the BBC adjusted 1 second. That you know. BBC adjusted it. The earth clock and the atomic clock differed by 1 second. They adjusted also. Many times these calendars have undergone changes. This Gregorian calendar has undergone changes many times, not one time. And the latest correction they made in the 1900s. Some 15 days were adjusted also. So that is because the error in the calculation actually. In India we had about 5,000 calendars. Even now there are about 5,000 calendars. The lunar calendars, the solar calendars, the Jupiter calendar. In India the calendar is not linear. It is cyclic. You know what is meant by cyclic calendars? Now you say 2011, 2012, 2013 it goes. It is a linear calendar. It started on a day. And it goes like this. In India the calendars were not like that. For the reckoning of the year, they had some reference point. So, how far it is Rishikesh? Somebody asks you, what will you say? Rishikesh is how much distance? Somebody asks. From which place? From Haridwar it is 25. From Delhi it is 250. From Chennai it is something like that, 3,000 something. Likewise, they had some reference points. They were not linear calendars. They are the Egyptian calendars and the Indian calendars were all cyclic calendars. Cyclic means it will start and go and end again it will keep on rotating. So when it started, a circle has no beginning and no end. We call it as Kala Chakra. Chakra means what? Rotating, a wheel. Where the wheel starts, which is the starting point, which is the end point. Every point is a starting point. Every point is an end point. So they never worried about time actually. So they inquired into, everything is changing, even the time is changing. In countries like States and Australia, at one point there is one time and at another point there is another time. Sydney and Perth have 2 hours time difference. 4 o'clock at Perth will be 6 o'clock at Sydney. In India we don't have that because it is not this way, it is this way. So they tried to find out what is real. Is there anything reality? So they saw here so many things and they can synthesize that. All the gold ornaments are ultimately gold. All the furniture is ultimately wood. So they tried to reconcile the differences. You compare what I said earlier and what I say now. So we actually try to define the differences. Have you any time tried to reconcile the differences? The more you differentiate, the more you get into trouble. The more you understand the unity, you are more at peace with yourself. How I am different from you is a problem. How I am one with you is peace. So they tried to reconcile all the differences and whether there are is there anything which is real, which is changeless. The changeless has become all these changing. The changeless appears as all these changes. What is that changeless entity which appears as? It provides a kaleidoscopic view of so many things. What is that? That inquiry they made, and then they came with some vision. So visualized something, they visualized something which is changeless here. Among these changing entities, there is an inbuilt changeless entity. There is an inbuilt changeless entity in everything here. What is that? So they came with some of their visions. Those visions, in Sanskrit, vision is called darshana. So those visionaries, darshanikas, came with some visions, some darshanas. But to make an inquiry, you should have a benchmark. You cannot make an inquiry on, I will make my inquiry on my own, it's not possible. So they should accept certain basic things. There should be a benchmark. So they accepted the Vedas or the authority. Whatever said in the Vedas are true. Based on that, they made the inquiry. So, that visions, those visionaries, darshanikas, who made inquiry accepting the Vedas or the authority, those visions are called Vaidika Darshana. Vaidika Darshana. And some people accepted that, but also thought some other things are also true. They also accepted their own logic as true. Their own imaginations are true. Their own interpolations are true. And then they came with some other darshanas. They are called Nastika Darshana. Nastika does not mean against God or all things. Astika means astitva, existence. Nastika means we don't accept anything as existing like that. So Nastika Darshana. In English we call it as the orthodox darshanas and the heterodox darshana. So the Astika Darshana and the Nastika Darshana. So there are 6 Astika Darshanas. The Nyaya, these are the Indian school of thoughts, the philosophy, Indian philosophy. Your Indian philosophy professor will be dwelling on these things. I speak it on my own way. They will speak, professors, they will speak in their way actually. So the Astika Darshanas are the Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. These are the 6 Astika Darshanas. The Nyaya is by Gautama, Vaisheshika is by Kanada, Sankhya is by Kapila, Yoga is by Patanjali, Purva Mimamsa. Mimamsa means inquiry. Purva Mimamsa means initial inquiry. Uttara Mimamsa means final inquiry. So Purva Mimamsa by Jaimini and Uttara Mimamsa by Vyasa. These are the 6 traditional Vaidika Darshanas. Nyaya Vaisheshika, Sankhya Yoga, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. This your professor will also tell you. So they by Gautama, Kanada, Kapila, Patanjali, Jaimini and Vyasa. These are the 6 visionaries, Darshanikas and their 6 darshanas. In addition to that, later on other darshanas came. One is a Jaina Darshana, that is by Arha, and then the Bauddha Darshana by Gautama Buddha. So these two are, most of them are identical to the other darshanas only. The Jaina Darshana, even the Jains, the Bahubali is considered as the Bharata's father, Rishabha. Rishabha is considered as the first Tirthankar, Bharata's father. Rishabha is considered the first Tirthankar of the Jaina. So his theories, later on the last Tirthankar is the Mahavir and the Buddha Darshana, Buddha Darshana after the Gautama Buddha. Later on his disciples wrote that. So these are the, and then there is another Darshana called Charvaga. Charvaga means, Charu means beautiful. Charu means beautiful. Vak means words. Charvaga means beautiful words. Why all this nonsense? Why you worry about this philosophy and all this? We happily eat, sleep and be happy here. Why do you worry about whether anything is real or you are real? Don't worry, go. Like that, he said. That is also by a rishi called Brihaspati. So that is materialism. So Charvaga Darshana. So Nyaya Vaisheshika, Sankhya Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa, Jaina, Bauddha and Charvaga. These are the 9 darshanas, and we will, from tomorrow onwards, I will enter into this Yoga Darshana. Hari Om Tat Sat.